I'm Ellen, and I read the fine print so you don't have to. Now, here's the thing most people believe. You think a car gets totaled when it's too smashed up to drive. Twisted metal, airbags hanging out, a machine that will never run again. For a lot of totaled cars, that's not even close to the truth. The car I'm about to describe starts every morning. It drives. You could get in it right now and go to the store. And an insurance company working off a number set by your state can still declare it dead, officially, on paper, then take the keys. So today I want to walk you through exactly how that decision gets made. Not the scary version, the real version, the math, the rule, the person on the other end of the phone. Because once you understand the machine, you stop being surprised by it. And a surprised owner is an owner who gets a worse deal. Stick with me to the end. There's one number I want you to look up for your own state, and I'll tell you exactly where to find it. Let me start with the word itself, because the word is the whole misunderstanding. Total loss is not a description of your car. It's a description of a bank account. When people hear total loss, they picture destruction. But in the insurance world, a total loss is a financial verdict. It means the company has decided it makes more sense to pay you for the whole car than to pay to fix the part that's broken. That's it. The damage doesn't have to be catastrophic. The damage just has to cross a line, and the line is about money, not about safety, and not about whether the car runs. Here's how a stranger reaches that verdict about a car they've never sat in. After a crash, two numbers get built. Just two. Everything hangs on these. The first number is the cost to repair. An adjuster, or a body shop, or both, look at the damage and write an estimate. Every panel, every part, every hour of labor. Say it comes to $7,000. The second number is the harder one, and it's the one people fight over. It's called actual cash value, ACV. Actual cash value is what your car was worth the moment before the crash. Not what you paid for it, not what you owe on it, not what it would cost to buy a new one. What that specific car, your year, your mileage, your dents, and your dog hair would have sold for the second before impact. So how do they land on that number? They look at what similar cars are selling for in your area. Same make, same model, same rough age and mileage. They feed it into pricing software the public never sees, and out comes a figure. Let's say your car's actual cash value is $10,000. Now watch what happens, because this next part is the entire game. The company takes the repair cost and compares it to the value. $7,000 of repairs on a $10,000 car. Divide one by the other, and you get 70%. Repairs are 70% of what the car is worth. Is that a total loss? And here's the part almost nobody knows the answer to. It depends entirely on which state you're standing in. Actually, let me back up, because this is the single most important thing in the whole video. There is no national rule for when a car is dead. None. The line is drawn state by state, and the states did not agree with each other. Cross a state border, and the exact same damage on the exact same car can flip from fixable to finished. There are two systems your state might use, and I want you to know both. The first system is a straight percentage. It's called a total loss threshold. Your state picks a number, and if your repair cost climbs past that percentage of the car's value, the company is required by law to call it a total loss. No debate. The math hits the line, the car is gone. And the most common number states pick is 75%. So in a 75% state, if your $10,000 car needs more than $7,500 in repairs, it's totaled. Below that, they fix it. But 75 is just the popular choice. It is not the only one. Some states set the bar as low as 60%, meaning a car takes far less damage to be declared dead. Others set it all the way up at 100%. Texas is a 100% state. In Texas, the repairs basically have to equal the entire value of the car before the law forces a total loss. Same crash, same car, totaled in one state, back on the road in another. Sit with that for a second. The thing that decides whether your car lives or dies isn't the crash, it's your zip code. The second system is a little different, and it's the one that catches people off guard. It's called the total loss formula. About half the states use some version of it, and instead of a flat percentage, it brings in a third number, the salvage value. Salvage value, that's just what the wrecked car is worth as a carcass, what a salvage yard would pay to haul it off and strip it for parts. Every car, Even a dead one is worth something in pieces. Here's the formula. Take the repair cost, add the salvage value. If those two together are equal to or greater than the car's actual cash value, it's a total loss. Let me make that real. Your car's worth $10,000. Repairs come to $6,000, that's only 60%, well under a normal threshold. In a simple percentage state, they'd fix it. But say the wrecked car's salvage value is $5,000. Now do the formula. $6,000 in repairs plus $5,000 in salvage is $11,000, and $11,000 is more than the $10,000 value, totaled. The repairs alone never crossed the line. The salvage value dragged it over. That's why two owners with the exact same repair bill can get two completely different answers. One keeps their car, one signs it away, and neither of them did anything wrong. They just live under different formulas. Now let's look at the receipts, because I don't want you taking my word for any of this. Once your car is declared a total loss, that decision doesn't just vanish into a file drawer. By federal rule, the insurer has to report it. There's a national database, the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System, run under the Justice Department, and total loss and salvage vehicles get reported into it. That's the paper trail. It's why a totaled car can't just be quietly cleaned up and sold as if nothing happened. The history follows the vehicle, and that leads to the part of the process people find out about too late. When a car is totaled, it usually gets branded with a salvage title. A salvage title is a permanent mark on the car's identity that says, this vehicle was declared a total loss. You can't just repair it and drive off with a clean record. To make it road legal again, it has to be fixed and then pass a state inspection. And only then does it get what's called a rebuilt title. And even then, that brand stays with the car forever. It drops the resale value. It can make insurance harder to get. So the total loss decision doesn't only end one car's life, it reshapes what that car is worth for the rest of its existence. Okay, take a breath. I've thrown a lot of machinery at you, so let me stop and stand where you actually stand. You're at your kitchen table, the phone rings, it's the adjuster. And a voice you've never heard, belonging to a person maybe 3 states away, tells you the car in your driveway, the one that started every morning through 11 winters, the one you just put 4 new tires on, is a total loss. You walk to the window and look at it. Dented fender, cracked bumper. It ran fine yesterday. It would run fine right now. And a formula decided it was dead. That moment feels personal. It feels like a stranger reached into your life and made a call about your property with numbers you never got to see. And honestly, part of that feeling is fair. You didn't see the pricing software, you didn't set the threshold, you weren't in the room. But here's where I have to be straight with you, because this channel doesn't just point at villains. Some of this system is actually built to protect you. Let me give the other side its due, because it earns it. Think about why a state would set its threshold at 75% instead of 100. Why total a car that could technically still be patched up? Because a car that's been badly hurt often has damage you can't see. Bent frame, stressed welds, a cracked bracket behind a bumper that looks perfectly normal. When repair costs climb up toward the value of the whole car, that's usually a sign the damage runs deep. And a state that forces a total loss at 75% is, in effect, saying, past this point, we don't trust that this car can be made truly safe again, so we'd rather take it off the road than see it patched and sold to someone who doesn't know its history. That's not a scam. That's the system doing exactly what it's supposed to do. A lower threshold is stricter, it protects the next buyer, and it protects you from being handed back a car that looks fixed but isn't. And the salvage side does something for you too, even though it never gets credit. Every totaled car that gets stripped for parts puts used parts back into the market. Those cheap used parts are what let the rest of us keep older cars running affordably. Your 12-year-old truck stays on the road partly because somebody else's totaled truck became a shelf of parts. The salvage ecosystem isn't the enemy, it's part of what keeps ownership cheap. So I'm not here to tell you the machine is out to get you. Most of the time, the machine is just doing math, and some of that math is on your side. But, and you knew there was a but, the same system that protects you has a few places where it quietly works against you. And these are the places where knowing the mechanism turns into real money in your pocket. Here's the first one. Remember that actual cash value number? The value of your car before the crash? That number isn't handed down from heaven. A person using software decides it. And every dollar they shave off your car's value quietly changes the whole equation. Watch. If they say your car is worth $10,000, then repairs of $7,500 hit the 75% line and it's totaled. But if they lowball you and say your car is only worth $9,000, that same repair estimate is now more than 80% of the value, and the car gets totaled even easier. Push the value the other way, and they can keep repairs just under the line and hand you back a damaged car instead of a check. Either way, the number they pick controls your outcome. And their first offer is almost always just a starting point. Here's the second pressure point, and it's the cruel one. When a car gets repaired instead of totaled, it can still lose value permanently just from having been in a wreck that's called diminished value. So if the company keeps the repair estimate just barely under your state's threshold, you can end up owning a car that's been through a serious accident that's worth less now than it was, and you never got the settlement check that would have let you walk away clean. And the third one catches people with loans. If you still owe money on the car and it gets totaled, the company pays you the value of the car, not the balance of your loan. If you owe $12,000 and the car's value is only $10,000, that $2,000 gap is yours to cover, unless you happen to have a specific kind of coverage for exactly that gap. A lot of people don't find out that gap exists until the check arrives $2,000 short. None of this is a conspiracy. Let me be clear about that, because I don't do conspiracy on this channel. There's no secret meeting where they plot to underpay you. It's simpler and, in a way, more honest than that. The company's incentive is to settle each claim for as little as the rules allow. Your incentive is to get every dollar you're owed. Those two incentives point in opposite directions. And when incentives point in opposite directions, you don't need a plan for one side to come out ahead. You just need one side to not be paying attention. So let's make sure that side isn't you. Here's your payload. This is the part I actually want you to act on. First, and this is the one thing I asked you to do at the start, find out which system your state uses and what your number is. Some states use a flat percentage. Some use the formula with salvage value. And the percentage itself swings from as low as 60% up to 100%. You want to know yours before you ever need it. The place to get the real answer is your state's Department of Insurance. Every state has one, and it's a government office, not a company trying to sell you anything. Search your state's name plus Department of Insurance plus total loss threshold. Write the number down. Tape it in the glove box if you want. When you know your threshold, you can look at a repair estimate and see the total loss decision coming before the adjuster says a word. Second, if your car ever gets close to that line, remember that the value they assign is negotiable, and the burden's on you to prove it's worth more. Pull up recent listings for cars just like yours in your area. Gather your maintenance records. Save receipts for anything recent: new tires, a new battery, that timing belt you just paid for. Adjusters revise their offers when you show your work. Not always, but often enough that it's worth the afternoon. Third, ask one question before you ever have a claim, not during one. Does my coverage handle the gap between what my car is worth and what I still owe on it? If you owe more than the car is worth, that's the question that saves you from writing a surprise check. Ask your own agent. It costs you nothing to ask. And fourth, if you own the car outright and they total it, know that you often have the right to buy the wreck back for its salvage value and keep it. That right varies by state, so confirm it for yours. But for a car that still runs, that you love, that a formula happened to condemn, sometimes buying back your own car is the smartest move on the table. So here's where we land. Totaled was never a description of a wreck. It's a line on a spreadsheet drawn by your state, crossed by a formula, and delivered by a stranger on the phone. The car can run perfectly and still be declared dead. And now you know exactly how that call gets made. The repair number, the value number, the threshold, the salvage math, all of it. The people on the other end of that phone deal with this every single day. For you, it happens once, maybe twice in a lifetime, on one of the worst days you'll have all year. That gap, their 1,000 times against your one time, is where owners lose money. Closing that gap is the whole reason this channel exists. Go look up your state's threshold. Do it today while nothing's wrong, while it's just a number and not a crisis. That's how you make sure that when the phone rings, you're not the one who wasn't paying attention. I'm Ellen. Keep your paperwork close and your questions closer. I'll see you next time.